Hello everybody, and welcome to today's stream. Hope you are all doing great. So we're going to get into a live project here that I'm working on, and what I really want to do today is to tell you about a very specific feature of Scrivener, which is basically it's writing history, writing statistics. And I want to use that feature to talk a little bit about, how to check up on yourself and how to motivate yourself as well. Okay, so there we go. So this feature is here. Okay, I always like. Okay, so here on project, writing history. Okay, so that's where you click. Okay, and so what is in writing history? Writing history is for a specific project. So this is the writing history for this one project. Okay, so I've been working on it for 138 different days, and I started, as you see, in 30th of November 2017. Okay, so then I did a lot of work for it in 2018, 2019, when I submitted it in November. Yep, and then I just got to revise and resubmit, and been working on it since November this year. Okay, so yeah, it took a while to get the review back. So been working, had 138 days on project, and this for me is interesting because actually if you think about how many articles you can pull out in a year. So if I go to when I submitted, I'm basically looking at. Oops. Yeah, it doesn't click. But okay. So if I go, so 128, it's like a third of the year. Knowing that there are a few days here that are from this year after I got to revise and resubmit, then that basically means that I can do 3 of these big papers. This is a big one. 3 of these big papers per year. Okay, and it really, I think, forces you to be honest with yourself. Because you may think, oh well, I'll write like 5 papers or 6 papers. I'll manage my time. Well, here you can really see if you've been able to do that or not. Actually, just out of curiosity. So this is. Let's see. So this, the one that we're going to open now, is okay. So these are 2 a paper I submitted to MS Quarterly, and I got a high risk revise and resubmit from it. So 2 rounds, and you see it's 192 days. Okay, so it's pretty consistent, and this is really important to help you understand how much can you do, right? So for me. I need 100 days to work on a paper. I may occasionally be able to overlap. I know from my everyday writing practice that it's super difficult for me to overlap papers. So, we're really looking at if you're the lead author on a paper, if I'm the lead author on a paper, at 3 papers or revise and resubmits per year, 3.5 if I push it. This to me sort of like, sort of makes sense. Okay? I think this is useful when we discuss yearly planning, that that this is how much you can do, right? This is how much you can do. 3 papers. In my case, 3 papers. So that's not too bad. That's actually pretty good. So, but it does help me set my targets. And as you see, this is pretty consistent. So, what other information do we have here? We have the average words written per day. Now, I obviously words written per day, it's bad because unless you say otherwise, Scrivener will delete from your word count the words that you delete from your paper. So this like significantly underestimates what you're doing. But, and again, this is a setting, so you can change it if you want to see your totals, your absolute totals. But that is is also a nice way to see my productivity. Now, use again 100 words per day is like ridiculous, but remember that if you rewrite something, and delete what was there or replace what was there, then then that won't count. That will be 0, right? So you see, like, today, for example, I have like zero words written. Okay. Now, something that is super interesting for me is this elsewhere word count. So elsewhere is not in the draft, and I use the draft to write sort of like my paper proper, and notes and everything else are elsewhere. So what this is basically saying is that for every 700 words that I write, 600 are in notes and 100 are in draft. And this for me makes sense, right? Because I do a lot of thinking, a lot of reading notes, and I also, obviously some of these things written elsewhere are copy-pasted text from articles, copy-pasted text from review letters. Those can be a little bit long. But, I guess this is a ratio that you may want to look at, because it's almost like the conversion rate between your notes and your actual writing. Obviously, because I have review letters here and so on. I also have like previous versions of the paper. It's not very telling, but that's fine. Now, I really like this second part of the screen, where you see how much you've written every month, and then divided by day. So at this point, I'm basically thinking about this paper, so making notes, reading notes, and so on. So you see 0 words on the draft, bunch of words in the other document. So these are reading notes, quotes, and so on. Okay, so you'll see here, right? As I was like writing this paper, sometimes here I cut 3,000. Here I cut 3,000 words. Oh my God! It's like, you see how my numbers go down. So here 1,000 words and so on. So you can see, and it's also interesting to see the shift between, I'm writing, I'm reviewing, I'm writing, I'm reviewing. I'm significantly, I didn't look at this, like I actually have a negative output in October 2018. So this really helps you also see the pace of your work and how you shift from full-on writing to not taking, to full-on writing to not taking, and and see how your work progresses throughout the year. And and as you see, I mean, sometimes there'll be a week that I'll be working on the paper every day. Sometimes just 2 days because I'm working on another paper, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then you can go and check your what you've done here below for the specific days or specific months. Okay, and here you can see on average your maximum, that's and your minimum, right? So there were days that were 0. Okay, so what I would say is that this is not necessarily something that I sort of like check every day, but it's something that I mostly use, I'd say roughly once a year, normally when I'm doing my planning for the next year, to sort of see how I'm progressing, how much I'm doing. And what I would say is that what you want, obviously keeping the quality of your work together, is is looking at getting your writing days per draft. It's looking at writing this per draft. Obviously, the scrivener doesn't know this, but basically, for example, on this paper, I know I've done one submission and one revise and resubmit, and I'm doing one revise and resubmit. So, so this would now is I'm still doing the notes for the revise and resubmit. So this basically means one round of the paper is 100 days or 130 days. So the idea is can I push this down 10 days, right? So that the first round of a big paper goes down a little bit, right? So let me just open another project just to tell you about it. Okay. Okay. So this is pretty cool, right? So this is a project that I did like from start to finish, and this I'm pretty proud of the work that I did on this project, because it went to 3 rounds of revise and resubmit, and it's 100 days for the whole project. It's 4 years. See, so I started 3 years. I started December 2016, but this is a good number. So this is something that makes me feel good about this project. Note that this is a category 3, so a lower ranked journal. So obviously that matters too, right? So let's see for my MS Quarterly piece representation work. Just to give you some idea of the numbers here. Something weird on this one. Right. IT diffusion, produce presence. Well, there we go. So my latest MS Quarterly piece. Let's see the history there. Well, something weird happening here. Maybe I have something selected. Shouldn't be a problem, but yeah. I don't know why. Maybe it's I know why. Because this was done in a previous version of Scrivener that wasn't probably tracking. So anyway, what I would say is if you're on Scrivener, actually take a look at your project and look at this number. You'll see my number is 100. Note that I mostly work on my own on papers. Even when I'm with co-authors, I'm the lead author and I do almost all of the work. There are exceptions, of course, but just take a look on the papers where you've done the job, and see what this number is. It's I think it will tell you a little bit. I also would encourage you to look at this cadence. So let's go back to the original paper. At this cadence between writing on the draft or writing on the paper and actually thinking about and writing notes, right? So you'll see here I have periods where I'm only drafting and only making notes. Look at the duration of those periods and see, are you working on multiple days on note taking and reading and so on for prepping, and then you write in bursts. Just look at that pattern and see what it says about yourself. Obviously, you can export this, and with a bunch of options, and just open up and do some number crunching if you are so inclined. Okay, now let's just quickly go through statistics. This is something that I use a little bit more for writing. Okay. So this is basically, it will give you the number of words, characters, paragraphs, sentences, average paragraph length, average sentence length, then the average number of words per document. Here I only have one document selected, and then pages if this was a book, and pages if this is a paper, and then your reading time. Now, if you go look at these numbers, you'll see that many of these are numbers that are used for readability. So if you don't want to go to Hemingway or Grammarly and do a readability index, you can look at these numbers, right? So longer paragraphs, more complex; longer sentences, more complex. Ratio between sentences and paragraphs, and also reading time. Okay. Now there's a little thing that people don't see here, but something that is really cool is this allows you to check on your on writing quality as well. It has the frequency count for words, and you can order it from the highest to lowest. Obviously, you have prepositions here, but for example, I'm a practice theorist, so the first word that comes up as very frequent. This is just one document. Is practices, action, work, communication, and so on. So this is useful, sometimes to look at overused words. So it's something neat. So take a look at this if you want a quick grasp on readability. Again, these numbers here, paragraphs and sentences, average paragraph length, average sentence length, really speak to the complexity, how hard it is to read what you're writing. So you can take a quick look at that and see whether you need to improve the text without going through Hemingway. And obviously this just only makes sense if you're doing this as you write. So that's statistics on Scrivener. Again, you found both on statistics and writing history on the project menu, and the statistics are for one document. Writing history is for the entire project. Hope these are useful and that made you think about your writing process. And I'll catch everybody tomorrow. And I'm taking a suggestion from a friend of the channel, Eliza Alt, to discuss what happens when you are working on a paper and somebody publishes that exact same paper. Okay? Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.